Hi everybody, it's Danielle Smith and I'm going to be talking to you about the book Can I Touch Your Hair, which is a book about poems. It's a book of poems of race, mistakes, and friendship. And it's by Irene Latham and Charles Waters and illustrated by Sean Qualls and Selena Alco. I wanted to discuss this book today in this video because it is a depiction of two races coming together and becoming friends. Two children in this book, Irene and Charles, they started off by not knowing each other, not wanting to work together because they have had preconceived notions about each other in their minds. So this book basically shows two different sides of the story, and it's all poems. So we hear on each spread a poem from Irene and a poem from Charles, and basically the poems kind of show us what their personalities are like and how different they are from each other, and then what their thoughts of of each other. And it kind of shows Irene being this young, white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl that has long, straight hair, and then Charles is this young, African-American, curly-haired, brown-haired, brown-eyed boy. And they obviously are completely different, and it shows that in the beginning of this book of poems. It shows that they're different, and it shows that they don't agree with each other's lifestyles, or they don't understand. And so, like, for example, when Irene was younger, she wanted short curly hair, so her mom cut her hair and permed it. But it shows on the other page that Charles actually, who has short curly hair, is constantly getting asked, "Oh, can I touch your hair? Oh, what does your hair feel like? Oh, can I touch your hair? Can I feel it? Can I see what it's like?" And then, which obviously rubs Charles the wrong way. Like, why does everybody have to touch his hair? And so he is offended by this, but it's something that Irene asked for when she was younger. So the juxtaposition is shown there. But then throughout the book, we see their different lives, and but then we see how they're similar in a way. So we see them come together on the playground and they start playing with each other because they realize that they're actually friends and they can get along and they can have some things in common. But then they start to come together when we see that Irene is realizing that what's going on in the world right now and the history of racial inequality is not right and it's not fair. And with her poem called News, she learns from her dad like what's going on in the news, and he tells her about Travion and about Ferguson, Missouri, and what happened there. And so she's like trying to understand that people like her are not treating people like Charles the way that they should. And so she's realizing that she wants to apologize for history. But then we continue once we heard that story or that poem, we continue to see the different negative sides of their lives. So we see a poem called The N-Bomb, written by Charles, and Charles is talking about how he's listening to music and it drops the N-bomb, and his mom says, well, no, that's not okay, and no matter how it's spelled, it's not okay because it's a spit, and I quote, "It's still a spit in the face of our ancestors who for far too long fought against the infection of that word." So we learn there that that word's not okay. But then on the other side, still talking about music, we see that Irene's playing piano with no problem. So then just throughout the book, we see the differences of these two lives and then how they come together at the end. But this book can be used as a counter narrative that represents authentic voices because it shows that we can come together. We could be separate, but then we can come together and be equal. So then it also challenges stereotypes within the book, because probably like it shows that they become friends near the end of the book, and that's stereotypical of people to not, or to people, for people to assume that they wouldn't become friends, but they did, and they wrote this whole story together, and they're real people in real life. This book does provide a platform because it opens up the idea of talking about what's wrong in the world, and it shows that if two young kids can get together and become friends and set aside their differences, so can we. But I like that because it's a children's book, it is light and it's airy, but it also talks about the dark and deep dark sides of racial injustice. So it would be an important book to use in your classroom because it can start that discussion of what's going on with your kids, and it's important for them to know what's going on, and it's important for them to see that you can be different, but you can be friends.